Right, this is 3 in, 3 out. We've got an Arsenal fan. We're asking Dan Potts 3 players Arsenal should bring in, 3 players they should get out. And we've got a United fan, 3 players they should bring in, 3 players they should get out. Dan, we're going to start with you. I want to hear the 3 players you think Arsenal should bring in this summer.
The 3 players Arsenal should bring in this summer is Victor Gyökeres as a striker. I think it's clear that we need a number 9, a prolific number 9. And I think it is worth the risk. He's a bagsman. He's been phenomenal for the last 3 seasons. And the stats don't lie. So 100% we're bringing in Victor Gyökeres. Alongside him, I think we need a left winger that is going to scare teams. And as much as I'm a fan of Martinelli and I think Trossard's a good squad player, I don't think they really strike fear into much of the opposition. But somebody that would be Rodrigo. And I think that if he's available at Real Madrid, it's a player that we absolutely must bring in. There's rumours that there's suggestions that he might be a little bit unsettled and it might be 100 million to 90 million pound euros. I think that would be, for me, the absolute must. And the third one I'm bringing in is a little bit of a strange one. I think a lot of people will be quite surprised by this, but I'm a big fan of Eze. And I think that Eze can come into our team and provide a little bit of versatility and give a little bit of competition to both Saka and Odegaard, and potentially start on that kind of left attacking 8 at times. So I think he's a very, very good player to bring in that can give us, and probably would have, to be fair, started a lot of games in the last couple of seasons where we've needed him. So they're the 3 that I would bring in to Arsenal.
Terry, Arsenal 3 in. Any agreements with the 3 there?
Yeah, I agree with two of them. I think Rodrigo, if he is available, it's a no-brainer for Arsenal. Him on the left, in his natural position, Saka on the right makes that area of their team potent. Gyökeres, again, they're linked to I actually like Benjamin Šeško. I think he'd be a very good player. I'm not too focused on the goals. I think at Arsenal, he almost doubles his goal tally in all comps the following year. Better team, more creative, and I think he'll grab the opportunity by the scruff of the neck. But I do think Gyökeres is better. So get Gyökeres. He's just, you don't score 97 goals in 103 games, even at Portuguese level, if people want to do that, without being a phenomenal goal scorer. You're just not. Third player, I think someone that can play a couple of positions, back up for Saka, puts pressure on Odegaard, and could work his way into the first team. And I think he needs a big team to quench his first, and that's Mohamed Kudus at West Ham. I think he's gone. West Ham started well, and I know West Ham's going to hate me saying this. I just think he's a bit bored. I just think he feels, really? Is this where I'm at?
Fred's a West Ham fan.
Sorry, mate. It's true. I think he's just...
He's agreeing.
You know, like sometimes you can be in a relationship and it's like, oh, you've outgrown each other. I think that's him and West Ham. I think they've outgrown each other, and I think he needs a club of the size of Arsenal or even bigger, and I think he'll spread his wings and fly. So I think he'd be a phenomenal player because he can cover 2 or 3 positions, but he's also good enough to fight for a first team place.
I see that. I think they're all good shouts, all great signings. Terry, for you, 3 Arsenal players out.
For me...
And you can be ruthless with this.
Yeah, first one I'm saying is Martinelli. Although I think Arsenal will say, well, no, they've got to have him as backup, I don't know if that works in the medium term. I think he'll see himself as a first-team player, where I think Trossard is very happy to play second fiddle, and you've got to get your squad balance right. So you may, for a year, be okay with him competing, but Rodrigo is going to nail down that position if our ins come true. So I'm basing this on if the ins happen. I think you've got to cut ties with one of the first-team players, keep the squad players as they are because they're happy to be that. So Martinelli would be one of them. I think Tomiyasu's got to be another, because there's a lot of Arsenal fans that were like, Tierney, get rid of Tierney, he's always injury prone. You've got to keep that energy for someone like Tomiyasu, who I'm not an Arsenal fan, but I don't even know why he's been out. The man's been missing for a long time.
Knees, I think it was knees.
Yeah, I think you just got to cash in on him. And it's not selling him, but I've decided, don't renew it. Don't renew Thomas Partey's contract. He had a good season last year, but I think it's a bit of an anomaly. I'm talking about his injuries. I think he had a good year for a player that was always picking up injuries. He's getting older. I think you're better off letting him go and investing in somebody new. You're going to get Zubimendi, it looks like. Then be adventurous maybe and look at the potential of Adam Wharton, someone of this level. Move on from Partey. I've got a feeling you give him that new deal, he spends 50% of next season out injured.
Very fair.
Interesting.
Dan, any agreements there? Martinelli, Tomiyasu and Thomas Partey?
I'm not ready to give up on Martinelli just yet. I think there is an unbelievable talent there. I actually put it down to our system and style as to why he's not been as great. I've seen him score 15 goals and when we were absolutely scintillating in 22-23, so I'm not ready to give up on him yet, which is why I would sell Trossard. And I know that you're not getting as much money for Martinelli because obviously Trossard is a bit older. I think Saudi, if they are coming knocking, which there rumours there are, then I think we could probably get 35 million for him because that's what you can do in those kind of market. And the other two that I'm going for are a little bit more of a kind of if somebody comes in for them. And one of them is Kai Havertz. And as much as I know a lot of people say that he's been good for Arsenal, I just think the obvious choices here are Tomiyasu and Jesus. We're not going to get rid of them. They're injured. They can't even pass medicals even if they want to go, right? So you have to look at the players that could be available. And that's why I've gone alongside Trossard with Havertz. Now, I think that if we were to go to Germany, and we're not going to do this, by the way, because Martin Arteta loves Kai Havertz, but if we were to go to Germany and try and get something back for him, I think we could do that. And the other player is Zinchenko. I think we've got to cut our losses there. I don't think Zinchenko's right for Arsenal anymore. I don't think that Arteta sees him as that guy that can invert anymore, which is why he's gone with Lewis Skelly and Calafiori ahead of him. So for me, if we can get money for those three, that's the three that I'd get rid of.
For me, there's a couple of players that could be on the chopping block that fans might not like. Havertz, I agree, is one. Mm-hmm. I would personally get rid of him. Martinelli, like you said, could be another. I would keep him, but I think to raise funds, if we're going to bring in someone like Rodrigo, he could be one of them. The other one, and I mentioned this on our show the other day, was Ben White. Because for me, the levels we saw from Jury and Timber this season,
scary,
phenomenal, higher than what we've seen from Ben White, and that's saying something because Ben White has been quality, and I love him as a player. I think he's good enough to be Arsenal's starting right back. But then Timber came in, and Timber just showed levels. The consistency he showed, he was an 8 out of 10 every single game. I didn't see him have a bad game. I didn't see him get beat by a winger. Even people talk about PSG. Kvaratskhelia didn't really beat him. No. Put him in a few tough positions. But you look at that Dembele first goal. Kvaratskhelia stood him up and then passed it. It's not like he got past him. And So, for me, because Timber is so good, I would hate to see Ben White go. But look, the guy deserves to play first team football somewhere. So,
I see if offers come in. This is the thing. If offers come in, I don't want to sell Ben White. I don't want to sell Martinelli. But if money comes in, you have to consider.
I tell you what, though, with Ben White, the same as with Martinelli, which is coming to my head as well, that it's also a ruthlessness. It will show other players, I've got to be on my game, or I can be gone. And so Martinelli, as the example I gave, he can still do a good job for you. But the message that sends to a Saka, to a Kai Havertz, to a Saliba is, God, they can find someone better. Or if I don't perform, I could be gone. I think that could give, again, some of the players left that kick up the backside to improve their game as well. But Ben White's a great shout.